Hi plant friends, welcome back to another episode of Seedling Sunday. Unfortunately, last week was a little crazy for me and I wasn't able to get a video out for you, but this week's video has tons of detail for you. Today, we're going to be fertilizing all of our aqua gardens. This fertilizer actually came with this aqua garden. It has an A and a B that we go ahead and mix into some water that we will add to the aqua gardens. So for every liter of water, which I measured this out, this is just about a liter, you use 5 milliliters of A and 5 milliliters of B. What's really nice is the cap actually has all the measurements on it. Add that right in. And go ahead and give it a good shake because you can see all the fertilizer down in there. I did end up letting this fertilizer sit for about 20 minutes to make sure that it dissolved completely before adding it to all of my aqua gardens. What's really cool about all of the aqua gardens that I have is they actually have built-in timers that will remind you to fertilize each of them. This is what all of the little babies were looking like about 2 weeks ago, and even the corn is starting to get really tall. I'm actually amazed at how big they are. The aqua garden babies are a little smaller, and I think that's just because they don't have as much nutrients in the water, but now that they are fertilized, hopefully they will get a little bit of a jump start. I went ahead and took a peek at all of the roots, and it's really cool to me that I can actually see all of the roots growing because they're not in soil. I'm actually going to have a whole nother video posted about a pumpkin that I grew in my aqua garden and how long the roots are on that. These are a few of the little herbs that I just started and a few beans, and they're already looking great. These next 2 pots are actually apple trees that I'm growing. I have 2 seeds that sprouted, and I'm going to try and grow them into full-grown trees. I'm really excited because these little babies are getting so big that they're actually ready to be transplanted into bigger nursery pots. I genuinely did not expect them to grow this large this quickly, but I am not mad about it at all. So the first thing that I'm going to do is go through and pick out which pots I actually want to repot and go from there. This is a beautiful random gourds, have 5 of them in there. Some pumpkins that are looking really good. My butternut squash. The reason they're a little flimsy right now is because they are in seedling mix soil, which does not have a ton of nutrients in it. Got 3 yellow summer squash. Some more pumpkins, looking really good. So I just pulled out 8 nursery pots. Today we're going to be planting all of these beans, or at least the majority of them, into this pot. This is where they will spend the summer growing and getting big. So let's start filling it with dirt. And down here around the drainage hole, I am just going to stack some quartz. Before I add in the beans, I'm gonna add in a little bit of this ancient soil, which is basically like a fertilizer dirt mix. And you don't need much at all. And it already has beautiful roots on it, which is awesome. And I am gonna bury him a little bit deeper just because he's starting to tip over. And same thing with them, I'm gonna bury them just a little bit deeper. I will eventually add a trellis for them to climb up. And there we have it. All of our little beans have been planted. This pot is really cool because it can actually sit on top of your fence, and I think I'm gonna go pop them outside for the first time so they can experience some actual natural sunlight as well as get some real warm air on them. Now we're gonna go ahead and repot these guys. These are mainly squash and gourds. All of my pumpkins have already been repotted. I went ahead and got some more really good potting mix. And what's really nice about using painter's tape to label is if you need to, you can transfer it from one pot to the next. Fill it up with some dirt. Set him pretty deep down in there. There's a nice little butternut squash. Next we're gonna do our other butternut squash. And there are both of our butternut squash. Next, we have a couple of yellow squash. Nice little yellow squash, 3 of them. Happier, looking pretty good. I'm getting really excited. They're starting to put off their first branches. Okay, so he just kind of fell apart. If it looks like I'm being really delicate, I am. Tomatoes are pretty fragile when they're this small, so looks pretty good. And that is a beefsteak tomato. Still kind of fell apart, but that's okay. And there we go. Looking pretty good. This is what all of my little starts are looking like as of yesterday. I'm really excited. They are finally starting to look like real plants. Unfortunately, the weather here is not being super cooperative, so they are going to have to stay inside for a little while longer until it gets a little nicer outside. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to this week's episode of Seedling Sunday. If you liked it, go ahead and drop a like and subscribe, and I'll go ahead and see you guys next week.